read something from my book because trying to move a couple of these. To be honest. This one's called Today the Role of Bruce Willis Will Be Played by My Dad. Sitting around the breakfast nook is my mother, carefully folding into herself, hands softening around the undone patchwork resting on her palms. My father's tongue is a blunt device made heavier by the weight of his native dialect. He yelled at her, "Bakit? Why? Why can't you do these simple things?" English words are unable to hold my father's passion. Maybe this is why my mother asked him, "Do you want to hit me?" He collapsed into a hard pause, counterbalanced by a man's need to be right, to win. "No," he told her, his jaw tightening to a pulse. Walking away, her face was reduced to a dull pallor. Later that day, he took us to the movies and let me choose. I leveraged the morning's incident towards one with an R rating. 2 hours into watching it, Bruce Willis gruffing his way through implausible feats of bullet dodging and populist machismo, he finds his wife, who is assumed dead, in the middle of a snowy airfield, and acceptable man tears well up as he holds her tightly in his arms. My father, sitting next to me, stumbles into a graceless attempt to wipe the tears that had begun. The laughter my mother was carefully stifling pistoned into a mild snort. "Umiyak ka ba? Are you crying?" my mother asks. Resigned, he helplessly flails his arms at the screen. "His wife," he said. He thought he lost his wife. I'm going to read two pieces from my, I have a solo theater show that I've been working on past year, and I'm running it again on June 1st. I have flyers out there you can talk to. This is actually my first thing. I've been a poetry slam, spoken word guy that went and got his MFA, and I've always wanted to create something that was both on page and on the stage. And so I created this theater show to be my next book and to also be a theater show. And so I'm going to read, it's a mixture of poems, storytelling, a little bit of multimedia, but you know, what exists in the book will exist on this stage. So I'm going to read two pieces from it. How little there is to know of the body, that we would emerge from the water never complete new. There inside is a facsimile of older grief. They say the body inherits memory. Maybe it's just the newer pain that learns to understand us through us. Trauma as a wire through the generation. We are not alone in this, I repeat. And then inhale, each flush of air sketching in my mind all the parts of me that will remain hidden. This is a kind of practice in faith, I tell myself. On the day the coroner will hold my dead heart in his hands, what will we call it? Out of commission parts, collapsed engine. What becomes of the well of ideas, the great imagination, every bit of touch that ignites and remains still? Where does it all go? I want to believe that joy is inherited too. Wouldn't they want us to have this as well? Doesn't everyone you love deserve the entirety of you? Someday I'm going to get gone. Someday you will. I grieve for everyone already. But I believe grief is an honest gift. It's how you learn to hold the whole of a person. So much of sadness is counted in the absences. There's nothing missing when it comes to any of you. It is your fullness that overwhelms me. The rich and varied life of a person. All of its requisite pleasures and madness. Maybe there is a way to learn to live with this. Maybe we'll make the place that has learned to love us in our pain in equal measures. In there is a greater joy. I must believe it is one equal to the weight of our living. This will be my last piece. When we tell a ghost story, it is not to say, here is the world that is strange and all of its strangeness will consume you. A ghost is a matter of fact. When we say that they still live in the room they slept in, it is because they do, as they live everywhere. The day we found out our grandfather died, the family came over to grieve in the living room. My brother walked alone into the garage and was gone for several minutes. When he came back in, he tugged at my father's shirt and told him he saw Tatang sitting in the car. Nobody walked in there after that. Once a mystic told my brother he had 21 spirits watching over him. And I wonder if they watch over me too. They've been there to see every single mistake. They could only stand there and watch me, passing through the impossible cushion of their arms. It still happens to him everywhere he goes across the world, picking up new ghosts, arrests a spirit in Tokyo, a wailing noise from Istanbul. Sometimes it is in Nung's hand. He knows this because he says when he was a kid, she'd run the back of her knuckles against his spine as he slept. She lived with us while I was growing up. Couldn't speak a word of English and used to eat at the table with her hands. She spent years thinking I hated her. But sometimes we are here in this country and it feels like a room we can't get out of. And sometimes we start blaming the wrong person for this. I tell my brother I know she watches me too, and I'm afraid one day I will see her. You can ask her to leave you alone, he says. But John, I tell him, I don't want her to. I'm not a pragmatist every day. Some days I have to fight the cynic in me to keep everyone I love alive. Thank you.